All right, we are live. Let me put Bean backstage. Let's put Bean backstage just in case he comes back and he's not ready to be live because I didn't tell him we're live. And let's cut the intro music in. Start off right.
Let's go.
Alrighty, we are live. I put you backstage just in case you came back and you weren't ready to be in front of people.
You know I heard you. I heard you.
Okay.
I heard you. I'm ready. Born ready. Is anyone on here?
Nobody is here. Let's just fire.
Let's just fire. All right, beautiful. All right. Halloween, baby. Nick and Bean pod coming to you live. Week 9.
Spooky season.
Podcast 9. Spooky season. Nick, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Got 3 miles in this morning. My legs are sore as shit, but we are getting through these runs.
Are you dressed for Halloween here, or what do you got on?
No, this is just a shirt I like. Okay. I wear it sometimes.
All right. I don't know if the people on YouTube can see me. The podcast can't see me. I came dressed as a clown. And the only reason I'm a clown is because I'm just wearing a Dolphins hat and I'm a Dolphins fan, aka a clown. Yeah. So that's my Halloween costume. Before we get into it, Diet Smoke, baby. Code Nick and Bean, E on the end, gets you 20% off. Best products, of course. Now, the Delta 8, the Delta 9, the gummies, the pens, the vapes, the mushroom gummies, the sodas, the merch, absolutely everything. 20% off. And this isn't just for first-time users. This is for anytime users. Code Nick and Bean, E on the end. All right, let's get into it. Recap from last week. Your boy Nick is back. And he went 2-1. You hit the Chargers team total. You hit the Eagles. The teaser did lose because the Ravens blew it. But you're back, brother. How you feeling on that?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling back. I was like finally excited again about football weekend. You know, the fantasy teams are looking good. The gambling's looking good. So can't complain.
Do you know what happened in fantasy? Do you?
Yeah. Me and you and your brother.
Do you know what happened in our matchup? You know what happened?
So I know I was losing. I was projected like 99% to lose. I don't know who I had left playing. Maybe there's one left player. Maybe they took points from you. I don't know. No, I think I added points. But I don't even know if I had anyone playing. But
it was so just to let everyone know, I went 1-1. Josh Allen, the touchdown passes hit again. The Jets blew the teaser. But I lost 4 out of 6 leagues by less than 3 points each this week. Our league, I had an epic comeback against you to win by 1 point. So I win by like 1 point. I'm like, this is great. We go to Monday, nothing's changed. I'm like, perfect. Monday, I check again around noon, nothing's changed. I'm in our leadership meeting 2 days, 12 hours a day. I get out for dinner at 8 p.m. I check. I have lost now. They have the first stat correction of the season has been put into place, and they change a Darnell Mooney catch to a Bijan Robinson catch, and I lose to you. Not only that, I lost another league by like 1 point on oh my God, it was so terrible. But either way, all good. Happy for you to win. But yeah, just the epic stat correction. A late Monday night, like a 7 p.m. stat correction. Fucking devastating. Now,
I'd already chalked it up as a loss.
I know. I had already chalked it
up. I was like, oh, I win everything.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, fuck you. All right. 2-1 for you. 1-1 for me. You're back up to 6-12 on the season. I'm 14-8. The prop god, he hit McManus. he hit Tillman, and then he split that parlay, I think, of Boz and Koo. Boswell hit, Koo didn't. The Tillman call was epic. I don't know if you saw in Kyle's league, the league we were just talking about, he picked him up and played him, and he had 30 points. It was epic. And I'm 99. I haven't confirmed with him, but I know it was because of the podcast. I'm like almost 100%. All right. Great week for you. Kind of a shitty week for me, not gambling fantasy wise. Now, let's get into the recap from week 8. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know, but Scott Hansen told us about 1,000 times. It was National Tight Ends Day on Sunday. Okay, Nick? I don't know if you know it. I don't know if anyone knew it, but they mentioned it about 10,000 times. And they broke the record for most tight end touchdowns in a day. I think it was after Kittle scored that night. I think it was 16 touchdowns on Sunday from tight ends. I don't think they had a week over like 8 or 9 before that this season. So pretty epic there. But we got to start. There's only one place to start, okay? And it's in Washington. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, an ugly game. Defense has stepped up. Looked like Caleb had the winning drive to win the game, and then the Bears do what the Bears do, and that's shit themselves. And Jaden Daniels throws an epic Hail Mary. It's tipped. It's caught by Noah Brown. The video comes out of Tyreek Stevenson, the cornerback. While the ball is being snapped, he's off basically on the sideline talking shit. He runs back into the play. He's the guy who tips the ball up to the receiver. I mean, Chicago hates him. This was just epic, Nick.
I was over here muting because I was searching for the video. Yeah, that video is hilarious. The guy going over the crowd taunting, and then he turns around. The ball's like already snapped. He's trying to like get into position. Oh my God, hilarious. Great ending. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, and that's why you never sports. Like it was exactly. That's exactly why you watch sports. But the video was just so shocking because you don't see that where literally the play has already started and he doesn't even realize it. Like it was just so epic. The Bears fans, I talked to Roger. I talked to him like Wednesday. I'm like, I had to give him a few days to recover. And I was like, I haven't talked to you since the Bears game. He's like, I just recovered. It's taken me like 3 days. That's how devastating it was for Bears fans. Jaden Daniels has some magic. That's for sure. Yeah. All right. Now let's move to the most rigged game I can think of in the last few years. Thursday night, right as we got off this podcast, was one of the biggest fixings I've ever seen in the history of the NFL. The refs were totally one-sided for the Rams. Vegas had just come off its 2 worst weeks in a long time, and they had to have this game. 90% of the money was on the Vikings. The Vikings are better at everything than the Rams. They came out, they were dominating, and I think there were 6 third down saving penalties for the Rams. And then, of course, the finale where they call a face mask. They missed the face mask call in the end zone on Sam Darnold. Yeah, this was a fixin'.
It was a good game. I mean, the quarterback play on both sides was pretty decent. We had 2 good wide receiver performances, one by Puka, 7 for 106. And then we also had Justin Jefferson, 115. He caught 8 of 9 targets, basically perfect. The difference, if you go look at both of the stat lines, is going to be the running back on the Ram side. I think Aaron Jones didn't do horribly. Yeah,
no, Aaron Jones had a solid game, but nothing like Kyren.
But he had maybe 40 yards, maybe 52 yards, and then Kyren basically had 100 yards. So that's going to be the difference maker for you right there. I wanted to see the difference in the penalties.
Oh, it was terrible.
They count that.
I didn't look at the overall penalties. I just know the timing of the penalties were so cheap and so bad. We got Wolfson in the house. Happy Halloween, brother.
Yes, sir.
Look up those. Did you look up the penalties? While you look it up, let's move to the game that you hit on. Which this game, Nick, I feel like, I don't know if it's you or me, I feel like this game is the one that's going to turn your betting season around. You rode the Eagles. It was a little bit of a square play, but the Eagles killed Cincinnati. Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. Saquon over 100, 85 for A.J. Brown in a touchdown, 84 yards for Devontae Smith. And I don't think at the time we knew T. Higgins was going to be out, but that definitely help the Eagles case because Cincinnati is just a different team with T. Higgins on the field. They just
I
don't
agree.
have that elite second option. And they don't have like a great running back like Mixon anymore. So they really do rely on T. Higgins. You obviously watch this game. You bet it. Any other thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I would say just that Cincinnati is clearly a completely different team when they have all three wide receiver options healthy. Like it's completely different. Like, am I going to bet on them? Am I going to fade them? I'm definitely not laying like this week. I think they're laying 7 points. I forget who they're playing. Not someone that good. Carolina? No.
Yeah, Raiders.
Raiders. Yeah, so they're laying
Raiders.
7 points. And T. Higgins is that's something where you're like, oh, would I lay 7 points with T. Higgins in or out? Not that he is that spectacular of a player, but like what he does in their offense, like that third option that they have since they don't have the run game, it's pretty huge.
Who's
And I cannot
who
find
are you,
penalties for
you mean to say second option?
right, second option.
Okay. All right. I thought that's what you meant. Okay. All right. I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure on that. Yeah, I would not be laying 7 and I think it's 7.5 now with the Bengals if T. Higgins is out. I definitely would not. I
Can't
think
do it.
that game's going to be in everybody's teaser and I would be sketched out by it. Now, the most electrifying man in sports, Jameis Winston, baby. I
Yes.
love Jameis Winston. He, obviously he won the Knowles a national title while I went to school there, and he's got a space in my heart, let's say. But this man is just fucking awesome. He just slings the rock. Deshaun Watson never even threw for 300 yards with the Browns, I don't think. Jameis came out, he just started slinging it. He was throwing it to Tillman, Judy, Elijah Moore, Njoku. Chubb had over 50 rushing yards. This team came back. They beat Baltimore. And, Jameis tried to throw it away at the end, but Kyle Hamilton dropped it, and the rest is history. He's just electrifying, Nick. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, so we didn't see the ugly Jameis in this one. He didn't have any picks. He threw for 334 yards. He's
He
27
tried.
for 41. 3 touchdowns, 8.1 yards per attempt, which is huge. Derrick Henry on the other side of the ball, 73 yards. He's just been consistent. 1 touchdown. Zay Flowers, 7 to 12 targets for 115 yards. And we touched on Cedric Tillman, 7 of 9 on targets for 99 yards and 2 touchdowns, having a huge. Did you already talk about that or no?
No.
Okay.
We talked
Having
about it
a
briefly
huge day.
before. Yeah, that was a prop god pick, and that's I think a few people who listen to this show went up and picked him up because of that. What was
Jameis
I going to
gives
say
them
about?
juice.
Yeah, he
Jameis
gives them
gives
a
them
lot of
juice.
juice.
He's one of those guys that's gonna he's gonna raise your ceiling, but also like you got a lot of variance with a guy like Jameis. This game
Yep.
it worked out for them, so we'll see how it goes. On the other hand, Deshaun Watson was the worst at there was like that ratio of pressure versus actual sack. So like pressure, but did it get home? You know what I mean?
Okay.
And Deshaun Watson is the worst in the league of if he's pressured, does he actually get sacked? He gets sacked the large percentage out of any quarterback that's competing in that stat. Baker's
Love
actually not
that
that
stat.
good at it either.
I love
Yeah.
that stat, Nick. I don't know where you come up with these stats, but just so you know, I don't know if
Yeah.
it was Sunday night or Monday night. I think it was Joe Buck. It was either Joe Buck or it was Collinsworth Sunday night. They dropped the yards per point stat on national television. I was getting
You know what
texts
I'm
about
saying?
it. They
Somebody's
took
a little ahead of the game.
big podcast listener. God, I'm gonna have to look it up and see who it was. Let's see. Hold on. It was huge pod guy. I got it right here. It was Troy Aikman. Yeah,
Yards per
Troy
point.
Aikman dropped it on Monday Night Football. So yards per
Fire.
point is back, baby. Last thing about that game, yeah, Henry had 73 and a touchdown, but only 11 attempts. It seems like when he gets the ball a
Yeah.
lot, I know they have to manage him because he can't take it 25 times all year. But when he doesn't get the ball a lot, they don't seem to win. So maybe if he had 20 carries, he's got 150 and they win the game. All right. So let's briefly go over it. Tua came back.
Okay.
We should have won the game. He looked great. You could see what our offense is. He was a little rusty. Few snaps here and there weren't great. But either way, 28 of 38 for 234 and a touchdown. and our defense blows the game. Shout out to the Cardinals because Marvin Harrison looked good. He had over 100 and a touchdown. McBride had 124 yards on 9 catches, and Kyler looked awesome. So shout out to them, but it was a bad loss for us. And now we'll get into the preview for the Bills game because it's on our list, but rough game.
I think it looked worse on our end than they looked good. Did tonight's game kick off yet? No, it didn't. I'm going to give one out for tonight. I like the teaser of the Houston Texans with the Baltimore Ravens down to -2 against Denver.
So what did the Texans go up to? 8?
The Texans go up to 8.5. The Jets aren't blowing anyone out.
Dude, this game is – here's another sketchy Vegas one. The Texans
I also like the under.
Are a much better team. The Texans are a better team, and this line is just ballooning to 2.5 Jets. Makes no sense. Under, I like that, definitely. All right.
Well, so
let's move. Okay, go ahead.
The Texans under this coaching staff have never played a Thursday night game, and they're under a rest disadvantage. So I think that's where the number is coming from.
There you go. We'll briefly go over this. 49ers beat the Cowboys, started slow, ended up killing it. Kittle had a big game. CeeDee Lamb had a ton of yards in garbage time. I don't think there's much to talk about. The Cowboys aren't that good, and the Niners are trending in the right direction. Lastly,
agreed.
Let's talk. Yeah. Now, I said it last week, and it was the headline of our podcast. I'm pretty sure that was the name of the podcast last week. I was the first one to be out on Russell Wilson. I'll say it again. I think I'm all the way back. I think I'm back in, Nick.
You're still back?
He threw a pass that was just sizzling about 40 yards in the air. George Pickens cutting across the field. Russ put some sauce on it, unlimited sauce on it, and just threw a dime to Pickens. He was let me get his stats right here. I have him up. 20 of 28, 278 and a touchdown. Najee over 100. They win again. Steelers look good. Now, I don't want to say I'm fully back in, but he looks a lot better than he did the last few years. I think we can all agree on that, huh, Nick?
Yeah, I agree to that. I'm not going to say I'm back yet.
That was Monday night. That was Monday night, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying
right,
no,
so
you're
you
not
ready?
In yet.
I'm not in. I'm not ready to say that I'm in on Russell Wilson because I was so far out.
Unlimited.
It's going to take me a decent amount to get back in.
All right. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say time for the Week 8 Week 8 preview.
Week 9 preview. I think I wrote it wrong in here.
No, I think I just didn't. I copied Week 8 and then I didn't change that on the.
All right, fair enough. At least you're honest. All right, give us. You lead us off here. You see these stats I put in here. You read them off.
All right, so we've got Dolphins. We've got Dolphins at Bills. The line is -6 for the Bills, 49.5 total. Josh Allen owns us. I agree. I was going to say something along those lines if you hadn't put it in there. 5 in a row, and he's 14 of 16. Is that all time?
No, the last
14 to 16.
He's beaten us the last 14 out of 16 games and 5 in a row.
Goodness gracious! All right, the Bills are our daddy. Great, solid point as well. And 71%
the Bills are our daddy.
Bets.
Real quick, that comes from I don't know. It comes from Pedro Martinez. After the 2003 playoffs, he got shellacked again against the Yankees. Oh, actually, it wasn't against 2003. It was 2004, Game 3. They lose like 19-8 or something. He gives up like 10 earned runs, and in the post game, he's just like, I don't know what to say. You can call the Yankees my daddy. And it just took off, and it was hilarious. So that's where that comes from. So, yeah, Josh Allen's our daddy.
Yeah, and then 71% of the bets and 84% of the money on the Bills. No sharp money indications yet. The Bills with Tua, the Dolphins against the Bills with Tua, and then even from before that, the Dolphins have just been owned by the Bills. So I don't have a good expectation on this one. This one is up in New York. Thankfully, it's October. It is the end of October. It'll be November by the time they play, huh? But at least it's not like January in Buffalo. So we got a little grace there.
That's the only thing we got going for us, that it's not going to be freezing. Now, the Bills, and I'll just spoil it now, but 2 weeks ago, I gave out the Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdown. It hit. Last week, it hit. Spoiler alert, it's going to be in the pod picks. It's too good. He absolutely owns us. We've already talked about this. Now, I am hoping that this money keeps coming in on the Bills because that's our only hope. Like you said, 71% of the bets, 84% of the money. I just don't know how anyone bets on the Dolphins in this spot. -6 with our defense and how we're playing. We got to just go full negative here and hope we get a miracle. So Bills in a
Buffalo
blowout.
looks like a good teaser.
Yeah, Buffalo looks like a perfect teaser, Nick. Put them in
Solid
all your
teaser
teasers,
leg.
please. Give us a chance. All right, next game. Harbaugh, Herbert, and the Chargers traveling to Jameis. Now, I don't think this game goes on this list if Jameis isn't playing, but we had to talk about it because he is playing. The Chargers are a sneaky 1-point favorite in Cleveland. Over-unders 42.5. The money is coming in on the Browns. Now, I looked it up. There are a lot of guys, including Bosa and a couple others, who are questionable on that Chargers defense. Now, I'll say it before I give you the mic here. If those guys are playing and they're mostly healthy, I love the Chargers in this game. I think it's a perfect spot for them. We know Jameis, like you said, he's got a high ceiling. He's also got a low floor. We know that. Herbert's been steady. McConkey's coming on. They look really good. The defense is solid if they're healthy. So I would lean Chargers here. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would lean Chargers here as well. The Browns had a horrible injury report Wednesday. Their best player on defense is in the concussion protocol with Denzel Ward. They had who is it? They had, was it Jordan
Chargers?
Hicks? No. I'm talking about the Browns. The Browns on their injury report this week.
Oh, yeah.
Denzel Ward,
Owusu
their best defensive
Koromoa.
player.
Yeah, they got a couple guys out. I think Owusu Koromoa got hurt for the season, if that's how you say it.
We were about to see their offensive line fully healthy with the Browns, but Pachick popped up on the injury report today, and Njoku popped up on the injury report today with the ankle. The Chargers seem to be clicking. The last couple of games, both offensively and defensively, they've looked really good. I think the Browns are in trouble here.
I agree. Let's move to Baltimore. Baltimore, a big spread here. Both teams 5-3.
Yeah.
Bo Nix and the Broncos traveling to Baltimore. Baltimore 8-point favorites at home. Over-unders 46.5. Money did come in on Denver, so it started out a little bit higher at 8.5. It's down to 8. In my eyes, Baltimore, what do we see out of Baltimore? They are usually a team who's giving up these leads. Even if they get a lead, they're usually giving it up. And probably the most opportunity to get backdoor covered in the league. So I don't know if I could ever lay the 8. I don't want to take the 8 either. I think this is a very, very tough game. 46.5 seems like a number that people are going to bet under. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did come down a little bit. Who you got in this game, Nick?
I would take Baltimore, but like my bet, like you said, like I'm glad you said that. I would bet like Baltimore first half because I don't think the second half that they're going to be able to sustain it, especially to cover 8. So if I were to bet anything, it'd be Baltimore first half. I don't think it's that close in the first half. That's why we see that 8 spread, or else people would be hammering Baltimore if they had something low like 5 or something under a touchdown. But Bo Nix actually shockingly good at avoiding getting sacked under pressure.
Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see a lot of teases again with Baltimore like last week, though, which sketches me out. I don't know if you already have it in a teaser, but it is
I just took them against
right
Texans.
at everyone. Oh, yeah, you just took them with the Texans. Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a pretty popular teaser leg. All right. Last game. And this number just moved because Jordan Love practiced today, and he's going to play, it looks like. So what do you got? You're showing me something. You got something?
No, that's
Give
the
it to
go
me.
time.
Go ahead.
No, that's just the go time because you're talking about
Oh,
Jordan
that's
Love.
go time? Okay.
Yeah, that's
Jordan
you ever
Love.
seen Gone in 60
He's gonna
Seconds?
play. No. Yeah, I have. Yeah, you're thinking of
Nicolas
Let's
Cage
Go
and
or
then
Let's Ride.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So the Lions were 3.5. Now it's down to 2.5 at Green Bay. Over under is 48.5. Jordan Love did practice today. Okay. He practiced. He said he's going to play. So I think that I don't know. I kind of like the Packers in the spot. The Lions look like world beaters. They look like the best team in the NFL. 52 points against the Titans. Jordan Love hurt. Just everything seems to be pointing at Detroit here, but they got to go to Lambeau. And my gut says Packers. For me, it's a stay away. I think it's a big total, so a lot of people will have fantasy points, fantasy players in this game. Going to be one of the best games of the week to watch. But you know what I like, and I don't have it bet, but that teaser leg seems great for the Packers. Get them up to 8.5. You figure this should be a pretty close game, and even if it's not close, you've seen the Packers put up a ton of points and come back. So, what are your thoughts here, Nick?
Yeah, I don't hate the idea of putting him in a teaser. It's a high total, but I mean 8.5. I do think whoever wins this game wins it by like a field goal. Going to be a great game. Excited to watch this one. But yeah, no, I can't call it. I don't know if it's not enough. 2.5 is not enough for me to bet the Packers. But yeah, I think it's going to be decided by 3, or it could be a tie. That'd be pretty epic.
Ooh, I like the tie call. Okay, all right. That wraps up our Week 9 preview. Let's get to pod picks. Let's hit them with the FanDuel, and let's get out of here. Okay, how many you have?
I've got 2.
Okay, I've got 2 as well. Prop God is not here this week. I've got his bet, though. Let's give his first. Austin Seibert, Commanders kicker, over 1.5 field goals, only minus 105. Austin Seibert, over 1.5 field goals, minus 105. I've already hammered it when he sent it in the group. Seems like a great bet.
Seibert.
Okay. I'm going to give you the first one that I already alluded to first, and then I may have – this might be a game of the year. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but it may be a game of the year. So the first one, though, is Josh Allen, 2 touchdown passes. Again, it is a little juicier than the minus 110 it was. It's minus 125, but you got to take it. Pay the little extra juice. It's only another $15 on every 100. Josh Allen, over 1.5 touchdowns. He's got Cooper now. Keon Coleman looks great. Shakir's back. James Cook can catch it. Kincaid can catch it. He's got weapons now. This is easy. 2 touchdown passes. Josh Allen, give us your first bet, Nick.
My first bet is Chargers -1 against the Browns. It actually ticked up to -1.5, I think, on Hard Rock. But we'll see. When I bet it, it was -1. I'm comfortable with either number.
1.5 now. It just changed it within the hour.
Yeah, you'll check it at game time and see which way it goes. Money was pouring in on the Browns. I don't know if Njoku questionable is enough for the money to start pouring in on the Chargers. But yeah, I think they're a better team. They're actually clicking. The Browns are injured in the secondary. The Chargers have been changed. They've changed their offense the way they were playing from the first couple weeks to now. Their pass rate expected is way up. And yeah, so Chargers -1.
Beautiful. All right. I'm not going to give it as a game of the year, but you could bet it like a game of the year. Okay. What did Jayden Daniels do last week? Threw a Hail Mary because he's a phenom in this league. He's been the number, I think, 2 or 3 fantasy quarterback. Terry McLaurin's awesome. Brian Robinson's a stud. Everything this team is doing right now, even the defense is playing good, Nick. They're 6-2. Frankie Louvu is a stud on that defense. Everything they're doing, even though they played bad last week, they still win, okay? They go to the Giants, who are 2-6, okay? A shit team. A shit team, okay? I got a 6-2 team, and they only got to cover 4 points in New York. This is the easiest bet of the season. Give me the Giants, baby. Give me the Giants +4. They're going to win this game outright because fuck Jayden Daniels, but give me the Giants +4. This is the perfect game, okay? And you want to know where the money's coming in?
It's a horrible bet. That is a horrible bet.
Oh, you think it's a horrible bet? Well, now that you're saying it's a horrible bet, I've upgraded it to game of the year. This is a game of the year for me. I'm going to put $1 million cash on it. And this is, let's see, I already looked at it, but yeah, 89% of the bets, 92% of the money is flooding in on Washington. And guess what?
Okay.
The line is staying the same. The line's not moving with all that money coming in. You know what that means when the line's not moving, even though the money's coming in?
Vegas is like
fishy's going on. something fishy. They're baiting everyone. Keep taking Washington. Keep taking Washington. No, we take the Giants. Game of the year. Let's go.
All right. My second bet is Falcons -3 at home against the Cowboys. The Falcons are going to attack that weak linebacking core of the Cowboys. Bijan Robinson is going to have a big game in that little intermediate pass, that screen pass. Falcons are not going to have any trouble moving the ball against the Dallas Cowboys. So Falcons -3 at home is my second bet of the week and my final bet.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was it 2.5 or it's 3? Okay, it's 3. So you've got the Falcons and you've got the Chargers. I love
and
that.
Then I also
I really love that
the
Chargers
Ravens
bet.
with the Texans. We
That
may
one's not gonna
release some
count
more.
for pod picks, though.
We may
Yeah, we
release
can
more.
release
It might not
more.
be pod picks, but
I like that. Now, obviously, we know that Texans one can't count. Okay, so let's go to FanDuel now.
I'm counting
All right.
some.
Well, it's probably going to lose because the Jets are probably going to win by 50. But I'm with you. So Chargers, Falcons. I'm Josh Allen touchdown passes, and the Giants, and Bedick, the prop god, is Seibert field goals. Okay, I'm undefeated in FanDuel this year. I've won every week. Last week, your team scored like no points, and my team scored like 1,000,000 points. So I won again.
Oh,
now,
really? Damn.
yeah, it was you had a few bad players, and I would have cashed big, but Jordan Love got hurt. Everyone else went. I had Tillman. I had a few other big ones. So lead us off. Quarterback, 2 running backs, and kick it to me.
Quarterback, I got Sam Darnold. I think he was undervalued at the price that he was. There's a couple guys ahead of him that I didn't even think were worth it. Chuba Hubbard,
That's a good one.
The New Orleans Saints defense against the run is horrible. Good value there. Kyren Williams just coming off a big game. You know they want to use him against the Seahawks. It is a good value play. Well, it's not a good value play. He's one of the more expensive guys, but I think he's going to perform really well this week against that weak Seahawks run defense.
Yep, he's worth the money for sure. All right, I went most expensive on quarterback, Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to kill Jacksonville. Kenneth Walker, 8,000 at home against the Rams. And I threw Devin Singletary in there, Giants, baby, because I think Tyrone Tracy's going to sit it out with that concussion. And for 6,100, he had like 130 yards last time they played. So I think he can get some points for me. Go ahead with your receivers.
Receivers, I got Devontae Smith, Josh Downs, and Alec Pierce.
Wow, two Colts. Oh, you're just riding Flacco?
Yeah,
Flacco.
just well, the Minnesota defense is bad against the pass, and I think Flacco is more steady than Richardson. I don't know if these guys are going to kill it, but I think for the price at like 6,900 and 5,200 against who they're playing, I think it's good. It's a good matchup.
Okay. All right. I got a heavy hitter, Justin Jefferson, 9,200. I stacked Devontae Smith. That's our one crossover with Jalen Hurts at 7,800. And I went with the other Colts wide receiver, only 5,800, Michael Pittman. He finally practiced in full today. So I got Pittman at 5,800 to wrap up my receivers. Go ahead, Nick.
All right. I got Kyle Pitts. Like I said, I think the intermediate game is going to be open against the Dallas Cowboys and their weak linebackers. Pitts should have a day. Ladd McConkey, you know how I feel against Chargers, against Browns, and then I got the Chargers defense. Very cheap.
Got it. All right, I went Mike Gesicki at tight end. I assume T. Higgins misses another week, and this guy only catches balls when T. Higgins is out. 5,400, super cheap. And then obviously you've heard Kenneth Walker, Jalen Hurts, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith. I had to go cheap in this flex. It's Nick Westbrook-Ikhine from the Titans.
Okay.
They play the Patriots at home. Fun fact, he's caught a touchdown in 3 straight games. So Nick Westbrook-Ikhine for 5,200. And then one of the cheapest defenses, this team, Nick, the New York Football Giants defense, 3,200. Hit those ribs of Jaden Daniels, knock him up a little bit, make some plays. They're like so cheap. So Hurts, Walker, Singletary, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, Michael Pittman, Gesicki, Westbrook-Ikhine, and the Giants. Read yours, Nick.
And when I said T. Higgins was the third option, that's because Mike Gesicki. All right. I've got Sam Darnold, Chuba Hubbard, Kyron Williams, Devontae Smith, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, Kyle Pitts, Lad McConkey, and the Chargers defense.
All right.
Wish I
We
didn't
appreciate
overlap
you
those
all
two
listening.
Colts.
Which one? Oh, the two
two
Colts.
receivers.
Yeah.
Wish
That
I
was
didn't
bold. That was a
overlap them.
bold decision. Very bold decision. But hey, I mean,
Lost track of what I was doing
5,200
there.
is Pierce was as cheap as Westbrook Akine. So I don't think they make him cheaper than 5,200, really. That's what Tillman was last week. So you're not going to make it or break it with that pick. All right. We're out of here. Happy Halloween. Nick, anything else? Or are we good to go?
Happy holidays, folks. Peace.
Peace. Let me get
all right,
let me
doggy.
put your entry in. Let me put your entry in real quick.